Once upon a time, it was a great series of games. I was -3 when the first one came out, so have never actually played the older games. However, I am not a wanker in terms of knowing what a good game is and enjoying playing a huge variety of genres. I haven't just played COD and then claimed to be a mega hyper ultra gamer. The game series I am talking about is in fact Duke Nukem. Now take away the old games, they are sealed in the time capsule of good games. Let's pinpoint our hatred towards Duke Nukem forever. There are a huge amount of issues with this game which just shouldn't exist. It was in development for 12 years. My assumption is the companies before it shat on paper and passed the buck on, knowing it was a dead franchise to the final developers. Here is a list of the developers during the 12-year life cycle. 3D Realms, Triptych Games, Gearbox Software, and Piranha Games. I have looked briefly into this topic, but everything I say is relevant towards this game and should be mentioned in the review for that reason. Apologies if you have no heart to listen to this bit. 3D Realms hasn't fully made a game since 1996. Triptych works secretly like secret bastards. Gearbox has got a good history and helps develop published games such as Borderlands, and Piranha Game creates shitty unheard of games for the PSP and DS. So this game really was set to fail from the beginning. I decided this series was going to change slightly. Instead of completely destroying a game, I'm going to critically analyse it in an abusive way, but point out the good parts too. It's only fair, right? Starting off with the graphics. The graphics on this game are just average for 2011. No real effort has gone into the surroundings. It's just a bog standard simple game. You know, if anything, it may actually even be below average because look at the gameplay. The explosions are just pixelated particles, and the floors and the walls and the people are very boring and plain. The art style for this game was something like this. Okay, graphics dude, go grey. The colour grey, go to town. I'm giving you full control here, but you can only use grey. Okay, fine, maybe some shit stain, but go for grey. This instantly puts the graphics down. They aren't terrible graphics though, so I have to mention that. It's just basically a game from early 2000s reskinned. That's what it looks like to me. So if anything, they are shit, because you can see that absolutely no effort went into them. More effort went into me drawing a dick on the whiteboard than the graphics of a dead game star's return to shitdom. Going into the sound. Sound creates atmosphere, tension, funny moments, epic moments, hardcore moments. It's a very, very important aspect of any media. It appears the developers of this game didn't know that vital piece of information and thought, fuck it, that'll do. Oi Jimmy, chuck us that bucket, I want to fart in it, record the noise. The guns are just terrible little pew sounds that sound awful. You're shooting a powerful weapon, not a Nerf gun. Make it just sound epic, hype up the player, don't make them want to turn that gun on their own head. This would not be a sound review without the goddamn cheesy awful quotes that Duke churns from his ass. That's right Duke, I can do it too. Let's start with, welcome to Coolsville, population me. Now we all love cheese, but the voicing for Duke is just so bad. It's like he's trying to live on his cheese alone from the 90s games, and it just ain't happening in this decade. No one wants to listen to any amount of bullshit from an overhyped, waste of space, pointless action hero. You want a hero? Go speak to Marcus Phoenix, or Master Chief, or Kratos. They are badasses. Duke's just a pussy in comparison, and his god-awful sound acting is just not helping his case. Not only this, but everyone in the game sucks Duke off. It's the most annoying sound I have ever had to endure. Oh my god, Duke, can I fucking suck you off one more time? The answer is yet another shitty quote. Eat shit and die. I would say that the sound overall is the worst part because of the voice actors, the terrible guns and the awful music and atmosphere, sounds that are played. But we've not covered the gameplay yet. The gameplay is by far the worst part of this game. It is the main chunk that people primarily play a game for, but without the other aspects, it's not really ever going to be classified as a good game. As you play, you feel like a weak character, clumsy sliding controls, and a really awkward feel to movement and aiming. This game is linear, and so you know exactly what is going to happen. Retarded, stupid, random objects are usable. For example, you can spin a chair, and drink from a tap, which makes you go, why didn't they improve on fighting rather than program this? The weapons feel weak and cheap. The surroundings look boring and plain. The enemies are incredibly low on intelligence, and you can predict their every move. What is good about the gameplay? Nothing is the answer to that. I'm not finished either. There are usually about 4 enemies max to fight. The gameplay is absolutely the most boring thing I have ever done in the game. You aimlessly walk around an awful storyline, killing the worst enemies ever, one by one, dull by dull, and speak random crap. What were the developers thinking? It's also like they went in half-arsed with the mini puzzles, because it's like you don't get anywhere after it. The whole game gives you no sense of accomplishment, no gratitude, no joy, no feeling. Literally, the developers produced what is known as a pile of wank. I didn't find any glitches playing this game, but if I was to criticise anything, I would say the game is a glitch. Redevelop it, but make it good this time. I truly feel sorry for the fans of this series, because this is a letdown and a shame to the older games. The multiplayer is my idea of a bad time. It's just the shit gameplay of the campaign, but against people. I don't care about the map design or anything. I want to tell you about the quality of the multiplayer. It is definitely just the campaign. I'm so sorry for using this example, but it explains it perfectly. COD has a difference between the campaign and multiplayer. You can tell them apart. This waste of time game has a shocking feel to it. They really did remake a 90s game in 2011, which is just far-fetched. People have moved on. Gameplay and style has moved on. Nobody wants an old classic back, which sucks harder than your mama at a prostitution job. To conclude, this waste of time is getting a 2 out of 10 because the graphics are mediocre. The sound is bad, but some saddos may quote it in their pathetic lives and go, "I'm so cool," and the gameplay exists. It's just not my taste, or any other human on the planet. Once again, if you like this game, sort it out. Much to learn about gaming you have, young Padawan.